Welcome, you crazy meatbags out there. Welcome to 2024. This is actually our first stream of 2024 for ProBots, and we're going to have humans, I almost said it again, versus ProBots, or meatbags versus ProBots, depending. I'm joined here with my casters, Endersword and Ketroc. How you doing, boys?
Oh, doing great. Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year. Happy freaking New Year.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got this done in January and not like had our first cast in like February or like March when the season probably starts up.
Yeah.
And then we have to be like, oh, Happy New Year, everyone.
It's close enough.
Close enough.
We're close
Practically. Yeah. So here we are. We get to do humans versus ProBots, and what everyone can expect today is these are some of the uncasted games that don't make it onto the finals. As everyone probably knows, that we do, our exhibition of ProBots versus humans, and we get a lot of submissions from people, but we can't do them all, and as much as we'd like to. And so these are some of the better ones that made it through the pile. And I don't know, what do you guys like? You guys don't get to see these games at all, so I don't know what your feelings.
Yeah, you never let us look, so that it's always a surprise. But yeah, exactly. Like when we try and do the end of season things, it's always like one matchup against each bot. So there's obviously other good ones out there that just didn't make the cut. And I think sometimes you and your production staff like rig it to be dramatic. So if we have
don't
like,
ruin the surprise.
Yeah, if we have a win when we wanted a loss, then it's different. So yeah, we figured it would be a good idea to take a look at some of those that didn't make it on.
I mean, it's no more rigged than pro wrestling or anything like that.
Wow. Well, they're in a little bit of trouble today. I don't know if you read the news in the last day or two.
I have no clue about that, but
Okay.
Good news.
We'll
Good thing about bots is they don't get into controversy. Well, that's not true. Actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, bot authors do.
But yeah, we're gonna get a chance to see some of these games, and it's true that we go through a lot of the submissions, and we have to pick out some of the best ones. But there are also sometimes really good games in there that just because of how the humans versus ProBots exhibition is played out, we can't show them all. So we. The admins came up with the idea that, hey, you know what? Let's go through some of those games. Let's show some of those games, some of the better ones. There's some, you guys still cheese the bots really hard for really badly. So these are some of the better ones that are not just a stomp. Ketroc, any feelings about your bots in here in the list as well? So
Yeah, I mean, like, as a bot author, one of the best ways to improve your bot is to put it up against humans, because you'll face a lot of things that you don't face versus other bots. So I usually like to go through all the uncasted games versus my bot just to find weaknesses in my bot. And yeah, in the past I found some hidden gems and never made it to ProBots. Some really close games, back and forth games. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what's been selected for this cast.
Oh, that's true, because we do give the authors the uncasted replays for them to study and dissect. So I guess I had forgotten that you may have seen some of these games, and especially since your bot is, I would say, a coin flip based on what humans are playing, will give certain results better than others. So.
Yeah. Your bot makes like, top 5 on the ladder and you think it's really good, and then you see it play against a human and it starts doing like 25 different stupid things, and it's like, oh, okay. There's some stuff I need to learn, and these humans are really displaying what needs to be fixed in this bot.
I mean, as a bot author, and what is the thing that you notice the most that humans do against your bot that you would say breaks what you planned?
Anything that's involves like subtle decision making is where scripted bots will be really bad at. They're great at macro, they're great at micro. If they can take it to the mid game and kind of get into that, producing tons of units and non-stop attacking, it can be death for humans. But even like little things, like I remember like Scarlet played my bot and she brought in a couple stalkers. It was just kind of like poking at the front and ended up killing like 25 SCVs or something just with the first couple stalkers. Like, okay, yeah, there's little decision making you need to fix up in this bot, and that's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
And the problem is, if the mistake works once, it'll work every single time. So
Yeah.
bots
Yeah,
don't fix themselves on the fly.
Yeah, you can exploit. You can find a small weakness and exploit the hell out of it because it will just never learn. Basically.
Yeah. So I think humans have the advantage definitely in the early game, probably in the ultra late game. But the mid game is where bots probably excel the most.
The first game is actually usually the best game because that's the one when the humans haven't really figured out the bots. Like they're usually testing what the bots' limits are, and when I go through these replays, a lot of times that's always the best game. So most of the times you will get the first game that they submit, because that's when they are usually caught off guard by what the bot is, and then the second and third game, they will have learned. Some people go for revenge a lot of times. Some people play Eris a lot. I would say Eris is the number one revenge bot that we get. And then your bot also is, I think, would fall as like the second revenge bot that comes in. So a lot of people kind of try to get revenge after they've won, or lost seed after they've lost the first one that we get. So
yeah, I think there's a lot too we don't get sent because like if MicroMachine beats you, it probably beat you in 3 minutes because it did like a proxy marauder and killed you. So people probably don't ever send us that game.
That proxy marauder actually is really, really dangerous. Yeah. For those who don't know, and you'll see it on our channel, is that Rotterdam played against the bots over the holidays, and some of these, like the proxy marauder, and even Sharkbot's proxy robo, kind of caught him a little off guard. And having those, especially when they get them running, if you don't shut them down really quickly, those can be problematic. Rotterdam handled them, but he did make there was a moment where he was a little bit worried, especially about the proxy marauder outside his base. He actually almost he lost a stalker in the first interplay. He lost a stalker, and it was put on his back foot. And like you said, Ketroc, it actually ended up being the decision making of MicroMachine that ended up because he retreated back to his base when he probably should have pressed. And that if he had pressed, he probably would have won. But because he retreated, because whatever he calculated, it gave Rotterdam time to build up and then push and end up killing him. So, yeah. So get your votes in right now. Humans versus ProBots. If you're in the chat, you can see that we have a poll going. Humans are predicted to win by 60%. You guys actually have a fairly good faith in humanity. I implore you. I congratulate you all for your strong faith, but I don't know, maybe that's low faith because now it's 56%. So maybe actually people don't have faith in humanity, and that's just a false signal. But and also don't forget, throw the likes up on here. We're at 9 likes. Keep going. I know you guys are out there. Help get us a little bit more visibility here on YouTube. I don't know if you've noticed. If you've been subscribed here, we've been putting out a lot more content, and I'm hoping to get a big roll of it out before we start back up the season with some tutorials, hopefully, for bot making. And if you haven't yet, we have templates, links to resources in the description below. All the stuff you need to get started. It's actually never been easier, I think it's actually never been easier to start a bot, like if you wanted to go from scratch. And new season is out. Ketroc, did you launch your bot? Is that are you there on the new season? Preseason?
Not yet, but I think I'm about to join. We just got the our maps updated to the most recent balance patch, so that's kind of what I was waiting on, because I kind of reworked my bot to have to upgrade interference matrix, and the cyclone's completely different, and so I was just kind of waiting for the ladder to catch up in terms of the version. So yeah, I'll probably throw the bot on now, because I believe I haven't checked the Discord lately, but I think we're fully up to date now.
Yeah, and then I think there's Ketroc's camera disappeared. But yeah, I'll start getting us ready. So I'll kick it off because I'm going to be doing observing today. So I'm going to kick it off to you guys to discuss what we'll see as we get started, and I'll see you guys on the other side.
Makes sense. Thanks for joining us, Mr. Observer, Mr. Host, Mr. Organizer. And Yeah, so we got 3 matchups today. So each one just kind of a best of one that was sent in. The first one that we have up is going to be MicroMachine, who we mentioned before, versus XPA, who we're told is a Masters player. I don't know which Masters league, but somewhere in Masters range. So that should be a fairly good one. MicroMachine, definitely one that can take some of these like off guard. And Drekken was saying before we started that these are apparently from 2023, 2022, and possibly 2021. So some of these may not be like the up-to-date version of what you expect from the bots now. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. It may be older iterations of things.
Yeah, that'd be good. Probably means there's some good games were selected if you're going all the way back 3 years.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, it is actually one game from each year, 2023, 2022, and 2021. So that'll be good.
Nice.
Yeah, MicroMachines had some really good games against some really good players. So I think there's even a game against Scarlet where MicroMachine was like on the verge of winning, and then it ran into that bug where, this bug that humans don't face very often because you gotta have about 100,000 APM, but then the game starts to keep spitting out your actions randomly, and they kind of bugged out at that point. But he's had some victories versus GM players. He's capable of beating a Master League player, I think.
Yeah,
if things go right.
Definitely the case, especially if you let it get into the later game. Here got the ladder elo of 2220 with the 74% win rate. The crash rate, that it's probably low enough that that's a lower crash rate than most humans.
Yeah,
I would think.
And probably not even the fault of his bot. This is probably like the ladder crash or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's had a few notable like past bugs where the speed mining on gas could crash him if it was on the wrong map or something, but yeah, mostly has been pretty good. And I don't know if we get a data card for the human. No.
Yeah. The MicroMachine may be the most cheese-proof bot that we have. For the history of MicroMachine, for about a span of years, I would say he was by far the #1 bot on the ladder.
Yeah.
Now other bots have caught up since then. But of course, during that time when you had to face MicroMachine in a tournament, the only way to beat him was like, then we come up with some crazy cheese and see if we can beat him that way. Yeah. So basically for like years, he was developing cheese defense is what he was doing. So if he tries to get cheesed by a human, I think this is the one bot that can withstand it.
Yeah, definitely. Well. He's always had the built-in defense too of like during most things that you do against him, he's sending out 1 or 2 Reapers against you. So it's enough that a human trying to cheese him has to still defend at home, or you're going to get picked apart by that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I think we are ready for the game, and let's hop in here now.
MicroMachine.
That's how we tell them apart, yeah. It's ProBots versus Protein.
All right, a little TVT action. This might be good.
Should be decent. We'll see if MicroMachine starts off with a proxy or anything, but he's not sent an SCV out yet or anything, so likely not.
Yeah, there was a period of time on the ladder where the most competitive bots versus MicroMachine were other Terran bots as well.
Yeah.
So I think he's put a lot of work into this matchup specifically. I know, like, for one time it was like Gen Z bot versus MicroMachine. At one time there was a competition between my bot and MicroMachine. And then Eris kind of took over, and it all became about Zerg.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that period, like, you kept finding ways to do, like, MicroMachine contains, like, with bunkers outside his base and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was my cheesy way of beating him. But then we really got into, like, battles of, like, who could work siege lines the best, like granting vision and walking tanks a little bit forward and winning the sky battle. So yeah, there's a period of time where he was updating TVT quite a bit with his bot. not an actively updated bot anymore, but again,
Still,
when you're number one for that many years, you don't drop
Yeah.
off very quickly.
Yeah, he's got that old man strength.
Exactly.
The experience. XPA going out for the scouts is going to see that it is just one base so far on the other side, although he started a command center in his main.
Yep, kind of a defensive play with the in-base command center, but
Yeah.
again, given the history of this bot, just survive the cheese and then you'll win because you're MicroMachine. So he plays it a little bit safe at the beginning. Still low off of 1 gas. That's still, I would still call that a fast expand build.
Yeah, definitely. There's the Reaper chasing this away. What is that? Interesting building
barracks, apparently?
placement. Yeah, interesting building placement, but there it is. When I first saw it come up, I'm like, oh, bunker. Nope, too big.
It might have been an attempt to build a bunker, but the fact that it was blocked for so long might have bugged something out with MicroMachine.
Yeah.
So now it's become a barracks somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's possible. Reaper gets up here. There is one. Yeah, there. I knew that there was one already out as it rushes back. And a second will join it in a second. See if they can trap this guy.
Yeah, and the factory unit's about to pop out. I assume that's going to be a Hellion. Yeah, this is going to be tough for that Reaper to get out alive, and it does not.
Yeah, gets a scout.
Especially on that map, as there's no way to jump to the natural.
And command center in place on XPA's side. And going up to a starport as well. And he's actually going to continue with the Hellion and Reapers. So looks like he's going to commit to some form of harassment.
Yeah, and I do like that because this command center is quite a bit later than MicroMachines, so try to get some work done here. If you can catch this Reaper, it might be difficult for MicroMachine to defend on his side of the map. Yeah, just 2 Marines against these Reapers is not going to do anything. Unless he can use that high ground to his advantage somehow.
Yeah,
The Reaper does...
start
Oh, yeah, perfect time for that Marine to pop out of the barracks, though, as he's able to finish off both Reapers.
Yeah, when the extra Reaper coming back, the Hellions could probably still do okay there, but they don't want to poke in too far, and as 2 or 3 more Marines join, then not a lot to do.
Yeah, MicroMachine deciding he has enough to take on that army, and I agree with that decision. Moving out with this 5 Marines and 1 Reaper, and able to knock off a Reaper yet again of XPA.
He's got a few low Marines here. Yeah, he could get these picked off fairly easy if he's coming out too far.
Yeah, very nice target firing by XPA. Picking off those 2 low health Marines.
Yeah, trying to pull back his, keeping them alive, and yeah, so reasonable trades. Neither getting a huge advantage here. But generally speaking, if you're in kind of a stalemate situation, MicroMachine eventually kind of gets better. So it's tough. Yeah, 3 Reapers for a Reaper and 4 Marines. I think that's, like a little more gas on one side, but it's within reason.
And here comes MicroMachine's unique playstyle, or his unique attributes.
Yeah.
The famous but infamous for your ears is the bunker mining he's about to do with the natural.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could definitely catch up on any economy using this sort of thing.
Yeah, it's basically at the cost of the bunker, you kind of get to save 2 SCVs.
Yeah.
So, 2 SCVs mining
Seems
there
fair.
would be the equivalent of what 4 would be if you didn't have the bunker mining.
Seems fair. So he's pushing out with a small group of Marines and a tank. He's got Vikings coming. Can he catch these? Nice.
Yeah,
Catches
those Hellions
them
never
all
actually
off
went
there.
home to repair, which I thought they would.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he was being quite careful with them, but then he kept patrolling around the map. Yeah, probably would have been worth the repair. Tank here is already set up as the Marines kind of come in single file. And it just doesn't have the vision for this yet, but there will be a Viking probably joining soon.
yeah, a little surprising that he walked those Marines in, but
Yeah.
he knows where that siege tank is.
And he's going to do it again.
I mean, part of our battles I've had with MicroMachine when it comes to tank lines is he was able to kind of jump my tanks with the Marines and, knock them out that way. And it looks like the decision making for that is not perfect, as we see.
Yeah, it doesn't work as well when you have less Marines and no stim. I feel you need the stim to make that work, to just bum rush them.
Yeah. Well, you need the stim and the combat shield.
Yeah,
Because stimming without combat shield also makes it really easy to die to tanks.
Yeah.
But as we speak, both of those are on their way. Well, stim is on the way, I should say.
So yeah, MicroMachine has not yet secured a third base, whereas XBA has, and it looks fairly safe surrounded by tanks there. MicroMachine is pushing out again, but I'm a little worried about the lack of Marine cover here, but turrets from Ravens may help, and again, if he kind of comes in single file, like he's doing right now, then that's not going to be good.
Yeah, might be able to win the Sky Battle here. They both have three Vikings to 4. The auto turrets help push it away, though. If he can get air control, then he might be able to get out position on those 2 siege tanks who don't have much cover. But I think there's just enough for XBA to maintain the air superiority here.
Yeah, I think so. And he's being way too hesitant, like keeps walking in, walking out, and just kind of loses something for nothing.
So yeah, that was kind of the window where MicroMachine wanted to get damage done, as he stayed on 2 base for so long. Yep. Looks like that was held perfectly by XBA, and MicroMachine's going to play from a deficit now with the 3rd base. Only about 3/4 of the way done.
Yeah, the actual supply and worker count's pretty even. Well, supply exactly even there, and armies even as well. But yeah, I think XBA does have that faster economic advantage, and MicroMachine just kind of is not accumulating units as he keeps kind of throwing a few away.
Yeah, a lot of Marines have died. I'm going to guess like 20 or so. The start of the game was great. He killed like, 4 Reapers and 2 Hellions at the cost of maybe just a couple Marines.
Yeah.
But he's given that back and then some with the Marine losses to those siege tanks.
Yeah, for sure.
But with that said, we are approaching the mid-game. This is where bots kind of excel. So despite being behind the Meatbag here, I think MicroMachine might be able to push his advantages of having nearly perfect macro and be able to fight on multiple fronts.
Yeah, I think the air in particular, it seems like he's got a fair number more Vikings. Nice matrix there, shutting this down. The rest of the army, like the tank went in and the rest of the army just abandoned him immediately. It felt like they were coming in to follow, but did not. But MicroMachine will now go up to a 4th.
And I do like that XBA is pushing out now. He's not taking a 4th of his own. He's had the 3rd base advantage for a long time. He's killed a bunch of units. So this is where he'll excel in terms of army size, I assume. He should be well ahead. And see if he can exploit that earlier 4th base of MicroMachine.
Yeah. He should be well ahead, but he's kind of not. But he does have the upgrade advantage, at least on armor. Yeah, it'll come down to positioning if he can get a good fight. But if MicroMachine keeps kind of letting individual units get picked off, but XPA stays clumped, then he's going to do well. But now the Vikings get this engagement from the side, and I think
huge Viking lead.
Yeah,
and I love the MicroMachine kind of came out to meet him, forced a couple siege ups, so that he was never actually able to jump that 4th base. And nice little position there for MicroMachine. Takes the air superiority. That's pretty big in TVT. And even though MicroMachine, I assume, is well behind in tank count, I think this could still work out well for him. Although I do like this swing around by XPA. I don't think MicroMachine will be in position to defend this.
Yeah, I agree. Once he gets set up here, I don't think there's anything that can kind of take care of him. He threw away about, another 12 Marines in that too. No medevacs with this though makes, this army pretty light. As it does come into now the tank range. And while this is good and takes out that base, there's another one on the bottom middle side. And I don't know that he can push in here. He may want to get out.
Yeah, just losing the air superiority at the same time he was desperate for medevacs wasn't good for him, because then now he needs Vikings and medevacs. And he may want to replenish the Ravens that he lost. So yeah, a lot of priorities for starport units for XPA. And I think with this Marine Force going down, he's going to go ahead and pull back home.
Yeah, you really, really need that cover. He's meeting up with another group in the middle of the map there that has the reinforcing Marines. But he's still got like a pretty big, I mean, a fairly big army supply advantage, so like a 30 supply advantage over MicroMachine. Economy's pretty similar, but I don't know that he's kind of looking for a way to move into like the main center area. But I think he may be better off picking off the sides like he was doing at first.
Yeah, and I bet XPA thought he was ahead economically because he killed the fourth
Yeah.
and took a fourth of his own.
Yeah.
He just now found out about the 3 o'clock base that MicroMachine also has.
Yeah.
So now he may feel more obligated to get on the offense once again, and that's what he's doing. Did get up to 4 Vikings and a couple of medevacs now, so that's very nice for XPA. He needed those very much. Nice siege position just outside the range of what MicroMachine has there.
Yeah,
Although
definitely.
he won't be able to get range on the 4th, but he is getting a lot of free Marine kills, and he'll cancel that starport once again.
Yeah, the Marine behavior is a little odd so far in this game for MicroMachine. They're just kind of streaming in with no real regard for what's going on, and that feels a bit odd. But the Vikings come in as long as they can keep the medevac count low and like the Vikings dead and so on. Here, CC just flying directly over everything.
Yeah. When you're building like your micro code
Yeah.
for your bot, you don't really think that you need to micro command centers, but you know, it is actually something that does have the ability to retreat from damage, even though they're very slow. So sometimes it's worth actually building in that sort of functionality.
Yeah, for sure.
Nice sensor tower coverage out of XPA. He won't be surprised by any incoming attack, and taking his own 5th base now. Looking in quite a good spot, but with that said, still a very even match, I would say.
Yeah, it's hard for him to like push in and end this. He's got upgrade advantage. He's got a bit of an army advantage, but now that he's hit max supply, then MicroMachine's going to catch up on that fairly quickly. But so far, MicroMachine hasn't shown the ability to control, like to jump on this position and actually take out any tanks. So like very few tanks have died in the whole game for XPA.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, every time he has jumped with the Marines has not been a good choice.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll get lucky one of these times where they end up jumping at the right time and picking off some siege tanks.
Okay,
But yeah, like you said, that siege tank count out of XPA is looking really scary.
Yeah, that little group of Marines stimming forward was actually really well kind of time calculated. I think he saw there's no tanks covering that area and I can go in and actually do something. And he swings around to this base on the edge. And
Yeah, great position there for XPA. Terrain blockers, high ground, pre-siege position.
Yeah.
And he's like one step away from doing this, which is threatening the 3 o'clock base of MicroMachine.
MicroMachine tries to come in from the back. The tanks kind of move forward, but now there's a lot of Marines there to help. But they'll get the base. Lose a couple tanks, but I think that's definitely worth it. And if he can kind of now pull out without taking more losses, then it would be good. But I think he may stay a tiny bit longer than he needs to.
Yeah, I mean, he did lose a fair amount of tanks there, so
Yeah.
his one major advantage he's had all game, which has been the tank count, I think has been diluted. There, the Marines finally jump on top of a siege tank, get inside its dead zone, and get the job done like they were trying to do so many times unsuccessfully.
Yeah, definitely. And the problem with the way, like, I think what XP has been doing in general is correct. However, MicroMachine's speed at just replacing the buildings, it's been like kill one base on the edge, move to the other one, but like 3 minutes have passed. So in the meantime, MicroMachine made 2 more bases. He moves in here. He'll get, once again, probably be able to pick this off. The tank's getting shelled a bit.
Yeah, but I mean, he won't be able to go much further than that. The
Yeah,
tanks have
yeah.
sieged up. MicroMachine's counterattacking on the other side of the map, and he's secretly taken the top left position. So, yeah, nice pick off from XP. You got like one thing good for him, but he's like 3 things bad for him at the same time. So,
Yeah, exactly. He may
This could be a
again
tough one.
think, because he doesn't know about that base in the top left at the moment. He may think he's better off than he is. And yeah, he's going to lose stuff on his own side for it. taking at least in this area, the air control again though is excellent. If he can help try and keep the Viking count down as he picks off another couple there, then that is helpful. But yeah, there's some reinforcement coming in.
Yeah, and those tanks were in range of each other for so long, just neither of them could grab the vision. Now the MicroMachines Vikings have taken a forward position. Those siege tanks of XPA are falling quickly. Yeah. And yeah, bottom right being taken by MicroMachine. This might get out of hand economically for XPA. We'll have to see. I mean, XPA, I can't really tell by the mini-map. I don't think he's taken the gas yet on his newest base.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
But he does have plenty of money in the bank, so it doesn't matter too much. Yeah. XPA actually going into Liberators. This is an interesting choice. That's one way to win a tank battle, as long as you have the air control, and he does seem to have about 9 Vikings, I think. One major difference I'm noticing is the upgrades. The bio of MicroMachine is actually only 1-1 at the moment, where XPA reached 3-3 quite a while ago.
Yeah, that is definitely helping out. MicroMachine's much more squishy, as we saw the units lost tab. He's lost like 190 Marines at this point. But I think XPA needs to get a few more medevacs out. He keeps kind of stimming everything, and without the ability to heal back up, that makes them very squishy, as we're seeing right now. Liberators trying to jump on these tanks. We'll get 1, 2.
Yep. All 3 of them.
Yep.
Boom. Little fight in the bottom right there as the gas is taken by XPA, but the base is taken by MicroMachine. It's a little funny dynamic.
Yeah, we're getting these little skirmishes now that tax your multitasking a bit.
Yeah, but it's actually really important that MicroMachine got that base up. He is starving for minerals right now, and by able to saturate that base with SCVs and call down a bunch of mules there, he's going to be able to continue in this game, because it's getting to the point where MicroMachine was becoming quite broke.
Yeah, he's definitely spending faster than he's earning, and his army supply has kind of dropped there a lot. Okay, this tank wave, had they been sieged in time, would have like really wiped this, but now the Marines are getting close. Kind of loses his own Marines, but yeah, the Vikings landing on him, just creating kind of a cluster.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Vikings damage is really underrated versus mechanical units. They do that double damage and just shred through mech. They can't take a hit, but they can definitely dish out a good punch.
Yeah, definitely. Both of them getting pretty low on the mineral counts at this point. Their army supply is still very much in XPA's favor, but both of them are nowhere near the cap anymore.
Yeah, that's true. XPA did just lose his freshest base, so I was concentrating on how little MicroMachine had, but XPA actually got crippled in that engagement as well. MicroMachine is actually distance mining now in the north, I noticed. He's so desperate for minerals, but he can't afford to build a new orbital. I don't believe he has the mechanic to float out his main base or natural
either. I was
either.
just thinking that he should, because there are minerals on both those top bases, but they get taken out and he's unable to replace them yet. Yeah, things are very heavily moving in XPA's favor now. He's kind of taking these small fights as MicroMachine continues to push into him, and has like a 60-70 supply lead at this point. And the air superiority doesn't look like it's going to get overturned anytime soon.
No. I mean, the only chance I see is how low the Marines are in HP right now for XPA. But yeah, with air control and a massive army lead and siege tank lead and taking this forward position, and MicroMachine's broke. I mean, there's like so much going in XPA's favor. Like, if he walks those Marines into like a couple of siege tank blasts, maybe this fight can change hands. But this might be the killing blow for XPA.
Yeah, does take out that tank trying to do that. And he's got like the Marines split into 5 groups there at one point too, so it's unlikely you're going to lose them all in some sort of shock. Yeah, and he's kind of broken through. Also, throughout, just the way that MicroMachine places his buildings, like a lot of the production is actually gone too. Even if he got his economy back online a bit more, he's got less buildings to replace with.
Yeah, that I don't mind so much. It's actually buying some time for MicroMachine.
Yeah.
And you don't need 17 barracks when you're broke,
No,
right?
yeah.
You know, having 7 is plenty.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just don't see a way back into it without an economy. The new base has been established by XPA in the south, so this is probably the beginning of the end all. Look at all those beautiful mules, which is something only a Terran player would say.
Indeed. Yeah, we got a 100 supply army advantage at this point. He's just kind of got to push through this high grade. He could really just go around, which is what he's doing. He's not going to push directly into it. Just choke him out by taking the edges and take out the last mining base, and that should be the end of it. 0 minerals on MicroMachine's side.
Yeah, GG.
Yeah, quite well done.
So I think one of the last things that MicroMachine's authors implemented was the ability to jump siege tanks with Marines. So
yeah,
probably need a couple more iterations on that code before they AFK'd their bot.
Yeah, exactly.
But very good match either way.
Yeah, it looked like, I mean, definitely MicroMachine had an advantage there throughout the mid game. I think 1 point at least, a 50 army supply advantage. But I think, oddly, even though it did seem like a weird choice to go into a few Liberators, they really worked quite well. Like when he got Liberators on top of tanks, he basically killed them. They didn't get away. So
yeah, it's probably like the best way to win a battle of siege lines. But the thing is, you have to have air control, right? If you're gonna go Liberators, you have to have more Vikings than your opponents. Otherwise, it's just, you know, they don't find a purpose at that point.
Yep, for sure. So there we go. The glimmer of hope for humans so far.
Yeah, being one of the best.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was our Masters player. Next up, we actually have a Grandmaster player, CobbleStone, who's going to be playing against BenbotBC. So another Terran. I'm not sure what CobbleStone is. But Benbot is a very defensive bot into late game battle cruisers. Obviously, that's what the BC is. So he's another one that can kind of, because he can keep them alive, like he warps everything back home, repairs a lot, is just very defensive. It's the type of thing that I've seen against other humans that it can spiral out of control, and eventually you're like, oh, he's got 12 battle cruisers now, and there's nothing I can do about it. So you kind of got to stop him from getting to that point. So we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first season the BenBot's put up his bot to play against humans.
Yeah.
So on paper, I feel like this is going to be a slaughter by the Grandmaster player. Just because, you know, when you haven't faced humans before, you have like a lot of logic in your bot that's like, yeah, this works versus bots, but it's just not going to work at all versus humans.
Yeah.
But it's selected for this cast, so it must actually turn out to be a great game. So if BenBot puts up a good showing versus GM in his very first versus human seasons, that's going to be really impressive.
Definitely.
I do like the play style of BenBot. The fact that he plays defensive in the early game and then tries to, you know, put on a lot of pressure later on. That's kind of what you want to do versus humans.
Yeah.
Because bots kind of suck in the early game, so just don't die to cheese and push your advantage in the mid game when bots are at their strongest.
Yeah, for sure. He even tries to kind of, I don't know if he does this as much in the human games, but like the proxy, like the attempt at the bunker contain a little bit could just be enough to delay someone from whatever their cheese was going to be. And then he doesn't commit to it. It's like a very light commitment, but then he bunkers up at home as well. And so, yeah, that could work. Although his bunker position at home is often weird. But we'll see what he does in this one. And I think we are ready to go.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing this one. Let's hop right into it.
BenbotBC.
Yeah, so this will be a good one. Nice little pylon at the Reaper jump there.
Yeah.
Usually want to wall off like one side of your minerals as Protoss, or you just want to wall off the Reaper jump in general.
Yeah, I don't know if BenBot doesn't typically do the Reaper thing anyway, but can still good common practice to do that. That's one thing about bots. You can just metagame them a lot. Like if you know what the bot does, then you just blindly counter that thing. But it's good, like for people to kind of go in fresh and not do that, like just play normal and not kind of try and second guess what they're gonna do.
So pretty early probe scout here. Is this going to be some sort of cannon rush? Or I didn't actually catch what that structure was. Okay, it was a gateway.
Yeah,
Okay,
it is a
normal.
gateway. Yeah.
Actually, no. This is a normal early scout, gateway scout. Yeah.
Yeah, the kind of random depot in the middle there. And yeah, it looks like he's confident enough after seeing what he sees to go for a Nexus and a command center coming down. And again, that seems pretty safe as long as you know he may have been scouting early because he knew that BenBot can do the proxy stuff. So maybe that's what he was looking for, but seeing that it's safe, we'll go economic.
Yep, and it doesn't look like BenBot will get punished for this early expansion, as he it was a gateway expand out of CobbleStone inside of the map.
Yeah.
So maybe an adept or two will show up before BenBot's ready, but for the most part, I think he'll get away with this early expo.
Yeah, and he's kind of making the wall there with a bunker. I think this is slightly different from how he'd do it against bots, because he doesn't tend to do this bunker walling, or the depot walling. He'll make the bunker and then put like widow mines next to it and turrets and stuff, but he doesn't usually do this wall attached to it.
Yeah, it might depend on the matchup. I think I've seen BenBot do it before. I think he's one of the only bots who actually tries to calculate where the choke point is of the natural, which is actually something extremely hard to do programmatically.
Yeah.
Most bots just hard code that if they're going to wall off the net, which is why BenBot's walls sometimes look really funky.
Yeah.
So it could be done with 3 structures, but I'm going to do it with 7 depots at this weird angle instead.
That's fair.
Actually, a really fast third base out of CobbleStone as well. So CobbleStone's really trying to take it to the mid game here.
Yeah, I think he's probably seeing this opening and saying, well, again, this is defensive, so why don't I try and take advantage on the other side and go economic? And he keeps kind of doing this loop around. I think he's continually trying to check what sort of military buildup there is at that wall, and then even the hallucinations in with a couple of sentries.
Yeah, definitely showing there's a GM, keeping his macro on points while constantly microing that probe that won't die despite being chased by an SCV and a Marine.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite a large economic lead here for CobbleStone, as he's going to get a good vision. Does see the double gas, but he hasn't found any production yet.
Yeah,
he might be scared, but the reality is there is no production yet. So
yeah, I think he missed by 1/10 of a second the Stargate or the starport that was going down. Yeah. Like literally as soon as he moved out his vision, that went down. But yeah,
3 sentries.
3 sentry poke, classic.
Is this going to be like the game that was casted against?
Where he just goes mass sentry?
Was Eris or was mass sentry?
Yeah, that would be fun.
And that was a Grandmaster Protoss as well. Yeah, maybe this is the same.
Yeah, is this the same guy? Maybe it is. Because yeah, that's a fun way to approach it. Is just see what you can do. Yeah, we get the smiley, so that may in fact be the case as we get our 4th sentry out.
So as a little recap, it was looking good when he did this versus Eris, but it ended up getting trashed once Fungal and Lurkers made it onto the field. So
yeah, it takes.
But with that said, bots are not good at force fields at all, which also means no bot is good at playing against force fields. So we'll have to see how this works out.
Yeah, they just can't anticipate that the map is going to change on them or that they're going to get trapped. So yeah, it worked really well when it was roaches and hydras, and then once you could fungal everything, then it started to get a little too much.
Yeah.
More prism support. Yeah.
Plus Eris's economy kind of got out of control.
Yeah.
Probably won't happen so much for Benbot, but of course Benbot won't be broken by sentries. I can't see that ever happening.
Yeah. The
So-
interesting thing, though, is of course you can't force field out a battlecruiser.
Yeah.
So there's limits to the effectiveness, and I almost feel that if a battlecruiser has army, then a sentry beam would heal it. Like,
Yeah, almost.
like it would have to be at the half-point damage thing, like a marine. But he is getting upgrades, of course, as you need to if you're going full sentry.
Yeah, why not? I'm looking forward to seeing the offensive Nexus to overcharge offensive shield batteries.
Yeah. Yeah. Getting
Nice little
high ground.
position here. Is able to pick off this.
Yeah, it's good.
A lot of structures there on the edge, actually.
Yeah, weird. A kind of weird number of them are there. The Marines come in. They're getting a bit close, and yeah, that many close enough is enough to do damage.
Yeah, nice focus fire out of Benbot. He's able to pick off, I think, 3 sentries.
Oh, Widowmine will that get out? Just barely does not get down. I was curious about the DPS on that. If
Yeah, so I said so many beams and it's still almost broke in time.
yeah,
The drilling claws definitely would have worked.
chases that away. The Hellion probably won't do too much. He's got the tank set up in the back there. That's the thing about doing this versus Terran versus the Zerg approach to it, is everything Zerg has does have a max range to it, whereas like a few tanks, you can't like force field them out or anything.
No,
So it's going to be hard to push in.
But I do like this decision. Deny the third when you get an opportunity, poke away at this high ground stuff. Although with the siege tank there, it's time to pull back, which he does.
Yeah, I think if you're doing this, and I don't know if you will or not, it's probably more like do it, see if I got this challenge there. BC coming in, how many centuries does it take to drive that away?
Yeah, I got some kills there. Almost got the cannon, but most importantly, it pulled all of the sentries back home. So Benbot is finally able to take his third base. And that's going to be a nice little spike to the economy for Benbot, especially the extra 5th and 6th gas geyser.
Indeed. Yeah, the real tell will be as that battle cruiser count does increase, and he's not adding to it right now, but as that does increase, is there going to be a point at which there's nothing you can do about it? And the one thing that often Protoss against Benbot in particular, really just anyone using battle cruisers, is your stalkers can like move or blink under something and overpower, out DPS the jump away by the battle cruiser, but sentries are never going to be able to. You could have like 80 of them, and I don't think it's going to like overpower how quickly it can get away. But here's the big warp ins into the main base, and if he could just take out a whole bunch of infrastructure, then yeah, not going to be a lot.
Yeah, but it's not that painful just to like be losing maybe a starport or two. As long as he can eventually clean that up and, you know, continue into the units he actually needs. The BCs do seem like a pretty good counter to sentries. May have to pull out the hallucinations actually to fight the battle cruisers.
Yeah, here come in submarines.
Picking off a sentry or two. And there's the battle cruiser, which I really don't know how sentries are going to beat a battle cruiser, to be honest. Especially when it's being repaired.
Yeah, we've got another one's about to. Can they get this in time? Can they get it in time? No, it will pop out.
Yeah,
yeah,
just in time.
Oh, are we gonna Yamato a sentry? Yeah.
I was about to say, if he gets the War Prism, I think Yamato one-shots a War Prism still.
Yeah. That's the recall out. But yeah, I mean, a good trip in there, taking out 2 starports, if that delays the accumulation of more battle cruisers, but we still got 2 being built at a time.
So here's a big question: will this 4th base get up? And I don't think so.
Well,
We got +3, I assume, on those. No, +2 on those sentries. So even the 1,500 hit points of the command center isn't enough to withstand. A cannon rush going up in the main base here, or battery rush, something like that.
Yeah, something happening. He'll be able to deal with this fairly easily, though.
I assume those delivered by war prisons, so some of those might be cannons. No,
Yeah.
they're all pylons.
Yeah.
Okay.
There, I saw cannons building, unless those were back at his here. The big warp in with the battery. This is decent, but yeah, again, it's just a DPS equation at this point. Another warp in of sentries right under.
I wonder if Yamato's even efficient versus sentries, or if it's faster just to
Probably
use your
not.
auto attack.
Yeah, probably not.
I guess at minimum it bypasses the overcharged battery heal effect. Oh, actually, kind of taking this fight, which you don't want to be doing. Yeah, losing 2 BCs is quite a way.
Yeah, kind of weird. He's just kind of drifting into there. Yeah, he can't let those get in cannon range again, at least, or else he'll lose all. One is super low. Yeah, there it goes. But he kind of traded all the sentries for that.
Yeah, maybe it was a bait. It's like, yeah, come on, kill my red hit point BC, and then lose 4 sentries while you do so.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
still might be worth it, given the economy of CobbleStone right now.
Yeah, for sure. It's yeah, CobbleStone, like obviously minerals good, but you know, sentries are gas expensive. But he's got every base basically.
Yeah, I'd love to see those minerals get turned into more cannons and shield batteries, hopefully.
Yeah.
Especially on the offensive side. You know, if you are going to fight BCs, you probably want to do it with cannons and shield batteries and overcharge and whatnot.
There you go. I guess the triple Yamato there helping out a bit, but yeah, here's another big warp in. I think he's gonna back out again.
Jack, I think it's time to use that Shift L command so we can see how many sentries have died this match.
Yeah, 65.
65. Okay, we'll reach triple figures, I think.
Yeah,
Benbot will at least do that much.
Yeah, for 3 battle cruisers. Yeah, it's weighted weird. He's still able to do these big warp-ins. Like, he's able to bank up to about 1,000 gas and then do the big moves. And the fact that he's got this deployment out, which seems to be enough to prevent the expansion of any bases. If anything, Benbot is focusing way too much on trying to hit the main base, when if his battle cruisers are out trying to help him expand, then I think he'd be doing a lot better.
Ooh, kind of missed the force fields there, although the Marines are deciding to retreat, unfortunately. It would have been nice if they were fighting with the BCs.
Yeah.
While all that was happening, though, Benbot did establish a 4th base. So again, like, BCs and planetaries are pretty sentry-proof. Yeah. So even though it may end up being like 12 base on 4, you know, 4 bases worth of BCs is a lot of BCs.
Yeah, he is jumping under them and actually able to catch it by stutter stepping. That's something that, again, when the AIs play the other AIs, they don't usually have to deal with that because the other AIs don't behave that way.
Yeah. And I just realized that was the first time we saw Guardian Shield being used against the Battlecruiser, and Guardian Shield is extremely powerful versus BCs, because BCs only do like 6 damage per hit unupgraded. So reducing that by 2 is, you know, that's a massive decrease in their DPS.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. If he could get these repaired up and just deployed together, then that would be disastrous for all these sentries. But he keeps just kind of fighting 1 against 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice Widowmine hits there.
Though he did get planetary with that one as well.
Yeah.
Cannon Rush is fully established in the main base now. And like you said, those BCs are not being repaired, so eventually they're probably going to end up falling.
Yeah.
Sentries do dip forward a little bit too much. I think CobbleStone is busy on the other side of the map. Yeah. But yeah, putting on a lot of pressure on both the 4th base and main base of BenbotBC.
It's a good idea to do this as like the mineral dump, basically, because of course he's got extra minerals that he can't use as he's making only sentries. The self-imposed restriction, of course.
Mm-hmm. I do think if he takes the 2 north bases, he would basically guarantee the victory. Oh, there he goes, taking one of them now. Yeah. But getting some cannons and batteries up of those bases, keeping Benbot on 4 base, should secure the eventual victory.
Yeah, here, sentries running into the tank line, the battlecruiser line, and it's going to be hard to like break that, but he could eventually starve him to death. Is going to be the key.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question may end up coming down to can you actually win the game?
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to break through the siege tank line with Widow Mines? Is he able to break through planetaries that are being repaired?
Yeah, that gets tough, but I think with all the resources on the map, you could eventually figure it out. And I think, again, he can change his tactics. I think you can get smart and start doing things like hallucinate to draw the fire from a planetary and then come in from behind it or something.
Yeah, you'd have to make sure to take down all the missile turrets first, though.
Yeah,
I assume bots are smart enough not to start
to
focus
fire.
firing known hallucinations.
Yeah, here, trying the front door again. Wall
Don't
will
mind
go
that, those
up.
bunkers are
That was
mostly
a little-
empty.
That was a little
Yeah.
bit of a trap. Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
back
you're not
up.
going to catch a bot, but these are wall open.
No. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, there's no such thing as not paying attention. Takes down that first bunker, but there's nothing in that one. I like the.
Oh, there's the offensive
attempt at
nexus.
the nexus, yeah.
Yeah, no battery to overcharge left, but yeah, it looks like Benbot's actually going to clean up his main base eventually. Oh, getting a full
Yeah.
war prism.
Nice shot.
So, if we're not talking about how long is this going to take, we really will be talking about can BenbotBC take a 5th base then.
Yeah.
This is probably a good opportunity for him. He's kind of cleaned up there. He still has a good BC count. Can he establish another base?
Yeah. It really
Because he
comes.
needs it desperately.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, seven BC's total loss, but 156 centuries, and the warp prism twice. He does have. What's surprising is he does have the resources to repair these. That one with that.
Yeah, that's a little strange
but
why
he-
they're
but he's-
so
he's
idle in the
not
main.
Doing it. Yeah, which is yeah, it's uncharacteristic. So I don't know if that's something that maybe broke when he went real time.
Yeah, there is a lot of technical issues you need to get past when you make your bot work in real time. And again, this is the first season for BenbotBC. And I know he's written in Java, so none of those issues are done for you in that framework.
Yeah.
So it could just be a real-time bug.
So I think if he was able to repair those and redeploy them, which again he's got the resources to do, and he's definitely got the extra workers to do.
Yeah, and look at all these idle SCVs. The Benito patches aren't even saturated.
Yeah.
So I think he's losing track of these SCVs and doesn't know that they exist.
Yeah.
So that's why he keeps building more. Like he's at 87 workers and still purchasing more, even though he has no mineral patches left.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think something bugged out with the bots, unfortunately.
Indeed.
CobbleStone's at 108 workers, but I think that's part of the cannon rushing into the late game plan. And he will take the last base here. Some of these aren't even being mined, but they exist. But yeah, something definitely has gone a little wrong with BenbotBC's logic. But yeah, here now we see the planetary, but even on these, only a couple of the SCVs are actually repairing this. They only need a couple, but clearly the intention would have been for everything too.
Yeah, I think he needs to snipe the missile turret and then go in with a bunch of hallucinations. That's the only way I can see it even working. And even then, like I assume there's armor upgraded on those planetaries, so these Stancher's doing what, 1 damage per shot, 2 damage per shot versus 5 armor?
Yeah.
It's not going to be good.
Something like that. Yeah, where are all the BC? Like, there's still 4 BCs being made at a time, but it feels like we're not seeing them anywhere, and they're all just stacked here. If these were at all repaired, like, or even if you just use them, even though they're all red, there's so many of them at this point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's waiting to repair. He has the money to repair, but something broke with his SCVs, so they're not repairing. Yeah. Unfortunate, but something that Blazier can look into for fixing for his spots in the next Humans versus Bots series. I think I had a similar issue with my bot once where I used to have 3 SCVs that would follow my mech army around and just keep constantly repairing them during the fight. But then when it went in Humans versus Bot, there was like the number of SCVs following my tanks around just kept growing and growing to the point where like all of my SCVs were following a single siege tank.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I don't need mining, but I do have 80 SCVs in case this tank ever takes damage.
Try and take out some of these random buildings. We've now at least got like 5 healthy battle cruisers together in one place, but is he going to be able to start going on the offense with these.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's hard for CobbleStone to really push in, even just against a single planetary. It's hard with the composition.
I mean, CobbleStone is leaving the window open by not
Yeah,
throwing down mass battery cannon at these forward bases.
yeah,
But I still don't think Benbot's going to get back into this. If he doesn't figure out how to repair his siege tanks, like if they just get low in health, warp back home, and then that's it,
yeah.
then yeah, it's probably just a question of when, not if, CobbleStone wins this game.
Yeah, he's like now the trades are certainly much more efficient for Benbot's side there. Like he traded one battle cruiser for like 20 SCVs or something there, but yeah, it's a matter of does he have power to do anything or close this out? And
The other question is, does BenbotBC have high sec auto tracking? If you can hit G there, Drekken. Because if he doesn't, then cannons actually outrange planetary fortresses.
yeah,
He does have it. Okay, very first upgrade he got. It looks like.
yeah, yeah. Another bunch of sentries going down. The next, well, he's not really mining there anyway, but in the long run that could matter. Here's a big, the sentry doom drop. But he
does find all of those.
Yeah.
Like the one place where you don't want to go.
Yeah.
Because it's the only place where these idle BCs will actually do something.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of like, woken the sleeping giant here.
Yeah. And the thing is too, those BCs are just wasted supply more or less. So if you kill them, then it opens up supply to build new BCs that can actually fight.
Yeah, literally better off dead. Yeah, and he's kind of trapped himself here. With the BCs coming back to flank, he's not really going to be able to get out. And may even lose all the warp prisms. So yeah, that turned out to be a fortuitous attack. Where he was glad to be attacked in that particular way. CobbleStone's kind of, like, he's got the resources and everything, but he's let his supply drop massively. There's only 28 army supply. So he can obviously afford to replace that, but he's got to get the cycle of warpins to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't see how CobbleStone closes this game out is the problem. And he's mined so little from the bases that BenbotBC wants to take.
Yeah.
Like, I think he just started mining here. I don't think he mined anything from the base south of that. That, like, if CobbleStone doesn't break his mass sentry rule, this might end up actually going to BenbotBC.
Yeah, might. One thing too, given that the sentries are now new, there's less force fields to deal with when the Marines do jump in, although he would have had plenty there to cut this off, but yeah, you kind of, the point of doing this is to keep them alive, so you kind of got infinite power. But
the question is, does BenbotBC know he has any SCVs?
Yeah.
Like, how broken is the SCVs of BenbotBC? Does he know he has one that he can use to build a new command center at one of these bases? Because he's got the money for it.
Yeah. This may clear, there's enough here that this may really clear out a lot. The Marines coming in to try and help, but they'll get force fielded away.
Yeah, and that warp away is not fast enough, though. As he kills the sentries, maybe the warp aways will start working.
Yeah, another big warping of those sentries again, though. And yeah, he's now trading a lot better, and the Marines weren't able to help this time.
Yeah, not too much. I mean, they did kill some sentries over there.
Yeah.
But, you know, it might be better that the BCs die. Because the alternative is they jump home and never get repaired and just sit at home.
True. Yeah.
So,
yeah, if they escape.
yeah, look at all these idle SCVs. Like I see on that base, I see like 25 idle SCVs, and one of them is mining minerals.
Yeah. Yeah, the gases are out
Something
there.
super broke.
Yeah, definitely true.
Those Marines in the main base are trapped as well, I can see.
Yeah, if only he could activate these, like to bring them in, because if he gets 4 fresh BCs, even with 8 ones that have 10% health left, it wouldn't matter. Like you could use them.
Okay, I don't know how you're feeling, but I think I'm ready for a little bit of 2xing on this, maybe.
Yeah.
At least fast forward to can the CobbleStone actually win the game?
Yeah. because I think it is a foregone, like just starve out reality now. So now the minerals for BenbotBC have hit close to zero. He's only got a couple things actually mining, and it's just a matter of time.
So he is finally getting the mass cannons there, which I like. Able to kill off these VCs. They're not being able to jump away. The bank of BenbotBC is more or less gone, so I don't think an expansion of BenbotBC is ever going to happen at this point. Especially as all the SCVs are very broken. Oh, there we got the mothership recall. Getting all the weak ones. Very nice. Okay, so like you'll probably be able to finish off the main base. The only remaining issue will be the planetaries. So if you can starve out BenbotBC of minerals, then he won't be able to repair the planetary anymore, and it looks like that is likely going to happen at some points here.
Weirdly, BenbotBC's income has increased. I think something reactivated some SCVs.
Yeah, well, he might call down, his mule will still work,
Yeah,
so as those become available,
so now he's hit zero. So I think he's mined out that base, all those bases, I guess. And the mothership coming to help again. Should work against planetaries.
Oh yeah, that's actually an easy way to win the game, right? Yeah. Snipe the missile turrets.
Yeah.
Especially if he starts by killing the main base first, which I think he's going to do, then you'll get rid of the orbitals. Or orbital hole. I'm not sure how many actually exist. Maybe you want the natural.
Coming in. It almost looks like he's planning to backstab again and do a mass recall. Yeah, this position's still a little hard.
I think Drek actually slowed it down to normal speed for a moment there, just to mess with us even more.
Yeah, yeah. So it does get one planetary.
We're gonna make sure you're dreaming about sentries tonight.
Yeah. It does get one planetary. May move in on the next one. Turret down. Clear out the Marines.
Yeah, and I did think you focus fire the middle, so you might be thinking the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You know, get the detection away.
Yeah.
Win with the mothership, and this was played, I think, on the most recent patch. So the mothership has only the activate ability for. No, he's just gonna go for it. Without the repair, yeah, it's burning. You can run away.
Yeah, yeah. Eventually, you'll get it. Yeah.
Okay, and still plenty of money in the bank for CobbleStone. He is running out of gas, but that should be fine. There's only one more PF to get through, and then the siege tank line.
Yeah. There we saw hallucinated Colossus. I didn't notice. I don't know how long these guys have been there, but the Marines have been stuck there for quite a while.
Yeah, that one. That's all from that one barracks that's been producing them.
Yeah.
No need to force field them. They've already been pre-force fielded by BenbotBC.
Indeed, he's going to unleash them in a second. No.
All right,
Nice.
so yeah, very nice. CobbleStone. I guess he went mass entry versus all of our bots. Not successful versus the number one bot in the ladder, but will
this one works.
Be able to cut through BenbotBC despite the planetaries and BCs, which really should be the end of any century memes.
Yeah, I think he's looking for how do I want to approach this. He may just flank from both sides. Yeah.
Bring in the probes.
With the probes, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to grant the victory to BenbotBC because probes are a second attack unit.
There is he saying, he may have been saying there are only 1,800 gas left on the map. In which case it was cutting it close, yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering that, whether he'd just lose by running out of money because he can't beat planetaries very easily.
Yeah. Good one, fun one, and yeah, it's great to have people submit games like this. Again, we used the one he did, I guess, against Eris, but yeah, we wanted to show this one as well where he won using the same sort of fun tactics.
Mm-hmm.
So always appreciate those.
Eris was like constantly expanding. He wasn't trading well versus the sentries, but he was trading the entire time, and then he teched up to, death.
Yeah, pretty
I think
much.
Lurkers. Yeah, I think he got Broodlords maybe at one point, but the Fungals were key to killing all the sentries.
Yeah, the Fungals were dominating it. And in this one, hopefully BenbotBC, like you said, if it's the first season he did the live, if he could fix some of those bugs, because definitely there was a period there where had he been able to repair, then he had 12 BCs that could do whatever they wanted. But that didn't happen. Yeah. So I think the next game that we've got coming up is against your own bot, Ketroc, and it is going to be Darxson is the name, and this is Darxson is a diamond player.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. I do see one question in the chat there. He was asking how come my bot loses track of SCVs when it's real time. I think the main issue with real time is things get updated slowly. So when we play just bots versus bots, if I give an SCV a command to build a barracks, on the very next game frame, we can see that that SCV has a command to build the barracks. But there's this delay getting the information back when we play in real time. So I might tell an SCV to build a barracks, and then the next game frame I don't see that on the SCV. So I might give a command to another SCV to build a barracks, and that sort of delay of getting the information can screw up some of the logic that we built into our bots because we don't account for that sort of thing. So probably some sort of thing where I was counting how many SCVs I have for repairing my tanks, and then the count gets screwed up somehow. But yeah, this next match against Darxson. I know Darxson, I think, beat my bots in the most recent season or the last season. So he's been enjoying playing my bot every season. So,
Yeah.
But this one's from 2021. So
Okay.
we'll see how it goes.
Throwback.
I think he's a Diamond 1 player, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, let's jump into it and see what goes on.
Ketroc.
Figure out who's the red and who's the blue player based on that panel at the bottom.
I'm confused by that. I'm confused by that, but there we are. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I don't play Zerg. My tendency as a Zerg against any of the bots would be to just be super cheesy and rush the hell out of things. Or like if I've played it as an off race, I've either just gone like Lings and like that's it, or just gone to Muta. I find fairly effective, just because bots have a hard time chasing them down, or kind of knowing that they can hit out anywhere.
Yeah, I would suspect TVZ would be my bot's strongest matchup against humans. I don't think we've ever seen my bot play Zerg on humans versus bots, but it's the bot matchup where I make the most units, and I'm probably a little bit more aggressive with them, and I can defend certain things much better.
Yeah.
However, with that said, I don't think this is going to be sort of a mech opener, as that's quite an early command center of my bot there.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember back to the state like 2 years ago of what Ketroc was doing, but I'm not sure. There are Lings coming out across the map.
Yeah, like honestly, I haven't worked on my bot much at all in the last 2 years, besides maybe trying to make some snipe builds for Eris.
Yeah.
The BC rush is something I brought new, and I do kind of want to work on my bot again now. I've already worked on it a little bit with the new Cyclone. I feel like the Cyclone was easily the worst unit in the game in the bot meta, but now with the new Cyclone, it might become the best unit in the game. So, just to see how that will work. The fact that there's no more cooldown on its ability is pretty huge, because bots could like instantly break that ability.
We've gone black.
And we've lost video.
Oh no, there we
And it's
go.
back. Okay.
All right, I don't think
yeah,
we
so these
skipped any
Lings
time. Yeah.
did arrive before the bunker was done, so that is a bit of trouble for Ketroc here. Marines are building one at a time, but that's more or less the only response we have here. Luckily, there's no more Lings on the way.
Yeah.
That said, these 6 Lings have done huge damage.
Yeah, and they could. He's not really like target firing down the SCV. Could have probably prevented that from coming up.
Ooh,
But,
bunker finishes just in time.
Yeah, just there's a 5 HP Marine in there. And yeah, so that'll stabilize. But yeah, that's a fair bit of damage for 4 Lings, not even 6.
Yeah, getting a couple SCVs is already a good trade for 4 Lings, and then plus, denying
Delay.
the natural for quite a while and killing off a couple Marines. That's very nice.
Yeah,
Feeling safe to throw up the 3rd base, and I don't blame him. as you got a good scout what was going on from Ketroc, and wasn't much there.
Indeed. And yeah, Widowmine in front of the bunker there, preventing some further aggression or run-bys. But it doesn't look like, Darxson's planning on attacking anytime soon. We'll kind of lean more heavily on economy now.
Yeah, I was about to say, with the early armory, this might be a Widowmine opener out of Ketroc.
Yeah.
So this is the build that worked for a little bit on the ladder, then just bots got good against it, so I stopped using it. But yeah, it can be pretty annoying. If your micro Widowmines well, like always like retreating them when they're detected and burrowing them when they're not, and combined with drilling claws, it can be a big hassle for your Zerg opponent unless they have like spore crawlers or something at their bases.
Yeah, definitely can be annoying, especially, if you haven't gone for a fast lair or anything. It was nice of the bot to announce what he was doing. Go Drilly boys.
Yeah, well, at least he didn't say a strategy at the start of the game, which my bot used to do.
Yeah.
I do have a plan for next season. I'm going to try to mind game my opponent. I'm going to like announce my
say the
strategy
wrong
and do
line.
something completely opposite.
Yeah. It's a good way to go. Nice shot. Yeah, so now a couple spores, couple spines coming up. But yeah, this will get some damage done. And it'll take a little while to clean this stuff up. And maybe prompting even the prompting of this overreaction a little bit also is its own damage. And Widowmine again going off against the queen. And she lifted it. I think
Lots of drones to walk right by.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is the worst. Then it finally burrows and
Yeah.
dies.
All right, another one getting down. Yeah, there's still no vision like mobile, I guess. So
Yeah, and I think that's a trigger for my bot to stop doing this. Looks like drilling claws is finished actually, which will help quite a bit. Yeah, I think once my bot sees an overseer, he'll transition out of this sort of Widowmine play.
yeah, it'll still be a little while there. Looks like it's halfway done. Yeah, with spores there, can't go in. Although he was able to completely walk in and walk out.
Yeah, I haven't looked at this for a while, but it doesn't react to spores very well.
Yeah. Does it treat them as different? I know that we've talked in the past about like the idea of like a detection layer, that it knows where vision is. Does it treat it different if it's like a building versus a overseer versus an observer or whatever?
I think the logic makes sense versus detection. You kind of like walk in until you find someone to attack, and then you burrow and then run away. But when you're walking into spines and spores, you're just going to keep walking in, getting hits, and then having to retreat over and over again.
Yeah.
Like their static units is never going to change. You know, walking towards a roach when there's an overseer nearby, then it kind of makes sense to go into range and burrow, and then try to get the kill. With that said, though, Ketroc has been getting up to 3 and now 4th base in the meantime.
Yeah.
So actually getting ahead economically, perhaps.
Keeps trying to come in and do the same thing, but it's...
Yeah, it might be actually a worse bug than that. Maybe it
Yeah.
doesn't know that spore crawlers detect.
Can
That
see,
could be the
yeah.
issue.
Well, I
I'll
was
have to check
wondering
that code
too,
again.
is there any way that it doesn't care if there's detection until it's burrowed?
I think it's willing to walk into
Into,
detection range
Yeah.
to find a target to hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks dumber than that. Whenever I saw this, it might be worse than that in terms of the mistakes in that logic. 4th base was killed, I guess, by Darxson there. Kind of missed that, but we got an alternate 4th base coming up.
Yeah, he had a few...
I think if nothing else has been super distracting, these Widowmines.
Yeah,
Darxson's
definitely.
still
I think
only
it's-
on 3 base himself, and
Yeah, I think it's taxed a lot of his attention, and it's caused him to turn like 10 drones into static defense. So that's going to take a lot from him. He's just getting a spire done now. So yeah, there's some corruptors coming out. And Ravager's getting a fair bit of damage done there's not much response to them yet. They can't get too close because of the planetary, but being able to throw down the biles.
Yeah, and the position he had didn't leave any space for auto turrets, so even the Ravens probably wouldn't be able to do anything in that spot. What's Ketroc transitioning into? I see one Banshee, and that's the only thing I see on the production tab, so...
Still a couple, still a Widow Mine. But yeah, getting rotors for the Banshees as well.
Oh, so he still hasn't seen a Overseer, so it's still in Widow Mine mode, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work much anymore.
Okay, he's going to see some in a second.
Cloak Banshee got in somehow, despite there being 1,000 Spore Crawlers. So.
Yeah.
And yeah, that should cue the transition out of Mass Widow Mine. Yeah, so like not much success on the offense from Ketroc, but I gotta say, like, he's ahead on bases, right?
Yeah, exactly.
4th base down, 5th base trying to establish, 6th base floating over.
And this Banshee will probably be picked off. A little indecisive on direction. But yeah, whittling down that base a bit. Army supply is really on both sides, pretty low for the state in the game that we're at. 40 and 24. But yeah, I expect more of a ramp up on Darxson's side now, as I'm sure he feels like he's stabilized and is also going for a 5th. But still a lot of this like static defense kind of cutting into his economy. He's only at 60 drones.
There was a real-time bug. I'm trying to remember back to 2021. There was a real-time bug where my bot would think that all of its placement positions for production structures were already used up.
Oh yeah.
So it would stop making new starports and factories. I'm not sure if that's the case here.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ketroc's money's being spent, so it could just be that he doesn't want more production yet. There's 3 starports. Okay, good. That bug isn't in effect here.
Yeah.
Because I think we saw that once in the ProBots where things were looking decent for Ketroc, but he stayed on 1 factory and 1 starport all game.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it just he eventually got rolled because he didn't have the production.
Ketroc expanding here again. Again, neither of them really hitting that point of like where we're going to have a large army clash quite yet, but now 3 Banshees being made at a time. And actually still a Widow Mine being thrown in, but 6 CCs.
Yeah, I think with Drilling Claws, Ketroc will always maintain 1 or 2 Widow Mines on the map, just because they're kind of handy on defense as well. Yeah, 3 Tech Lab starports just finished, and 3 more starports are on the way, so the Banshee count should be getting quite large. I think this is going to be more or less a Sky Terran build out of Ketroc. And where he doesn't have much army supply, he can fight with planetaries, so that might be able to keep him alive for a while.
Yeah, pushing him back into the static defense. There's a decent amount of corruptors there that, especially since the Vikings kind of split up, should be able to take the groups out.
Yeah, but good amount of Vikings as well. And Vikings, you know, corruptors are obviously faster, but with the bots kiting backwards, Vikings do better than they should, we'll say, versus in corruptor versus Viking battles.
Yeah, they kind of ended up getting pulled apart themselves, so now they're just kind of getting picked off 1 at a time.
That bug that I still haven't fixed still exists, where the Banshees will commit suicide trying to kill detection like missile turrets or cannons or, in this case, Spore Crawlers. You're really getting slaughtered, though, for Darxson. Every time he moves out, he's just kind of losing everything.
Yeah.
Cutting backwards of the Vikings and abusing that long range is working quite well.
Yeah, and he's really
if he moves out too far.
Now.
He can't handle the cloak of the Banshee, so...
Yeah, I kind of can't deal with it. And the restriction of like creep too, like this is the point that the Zerg wants to have creep over half the map and be able to be offensive, but every time he moves off the creep, like the Hydras can't really keep up. Swarm hosts. Interesting.
Yeah, I remember Eris having a lot of success with Storm Host versus
Yeah.
my bots in the past. Yeah, something I don't have here, but my new version of my bot has it makes a little squad with one Banshee and one Raven.
Yeah,
And it just keeps moving along the edge of the creep and picking off all the freshest creep tumors.
yeah. Nice. Yeah, again, has to back up onto creep here. Swarm hosts are going to get chased down.
Yeah, and one of the best things against Swarm Hosts is speed Banshees. You can kind of just
Yeah.
kill them all off, and you can run away when you need to. So
Come in again. There's a couple spores here. There's a few Hydras under this.
yeah, suicide on the
there's a
spores, but
lot
there weren't
now.
many.
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of Hydras there to punish it. So
Yeah.
looks like about 3 of the Banshees will survive. At the cost of obviously all a good trade for the Zerg, but
Yeah.
at least all the spores are down, so that issue won't happen again over there.
Yeah.
And now there's no detection, so these Hydras are falling quite quickly. And the map is looking pretty deadly.
Yeah.
That is a lot of planetaries and a lot of bases for Ketroc, and he's still putting on a lot of pressure. So
Yeah, you
Darxson
don't want
is
to
in
be
a tough
that
spot.
surrounded. Yeah, yeah, this is the type of thing, like the position Ketroc is in is the position that the Zerg wants to be in with like map control and surrounding, but unfortunately he's pushing out. Yeah,
Yeah, and A moving is overseers. He had 4 of them. He lost
Yeah.
all 4. One of them to the Vikings, 3 of them to missile turrets, though.
yeah,
Which means that's just free damage now for all these Banshees.
yeah, and just having this off creep, you could just feel how much slower it is. They just feel very sluggish getting back on. And not that there's much protection there for them either. The couple spores will go down, and then this base is probably dead as well.
Yeah, I think that was a large mistake there of Darxson.
Yeah, big overcommit.
I think in the commitment is fine. It's just the overseers need to be on like say
Well,
the
yeah,
follow
that's-
commands
yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
If you A move them over missile turrets
Yeah,
when you know you're gonna die to cloak, that's a big deal. Because I think my Banshees won't even want to engage the Hydras, but even if they did, the Hydras be able to trade very well as long as they have detection.
starting to be a little better here now as an overseer does come in. A few Vikings and Banshees picked off, but
Yeah.
at the loss of that base.
That overseer is low. No Vikings at the front line at the moment, so they should be okay for now. Also, the Raven count's getting up pretty large, so
Yeah.
all of a sudden these auto turrets are becoming an issue.
Yeah.
Taking off all these drones that are attempting to transfer or distance mine.
Yeah, and the Hydras, for a second there, were trying to find a place to hide, but they need to come and help try and defend the spores.
And with those spores down, those last 2 Banshees are able to cloak up and get some free shots here.
Yeah.
And yeah, Ketroc's just kind of rolling in the money. Now the question is, in 2001, did Ketroc build a bunch of orbitals and have fun with the mules?
Probably should. I definitely want to see a GG on the middle of the map. And yeah, these Hydras once again caught out without their detection, and we'll just kind of tap out there. But yeah, good game, good game indeed. So there we go. It was, so what was the end of that? Was humans 2, bots 1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, wait.
The
I can't remember.
the sentries 1.
Yeah, you're right.
and
Okay,
my-
2 to
yeah,
1 for
yeah.
the humans.
Yeah. There we go.
Very cool.
So yeah, we might do a little bit more of this as we go if we get other good games. Just kind of do impromptu days like this where we take a look at some of the best matchups. And yeah, so let us know if you thought this was fun. We always had these, and yeah. Yeah, I think Drekken is going to rejoin us here in a moment. Once again, even though we're kind of done now, if you haven't hit like below, please do so. Helps out with visibility and all that stuff for future things.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that, maybe even once a month we can have, when ProBots itself proper is not going on in between seasons, maybe we can have like a challenge against the bots. I really liked the Smash Centuries thing. So kind of like a Fun Day Monday, but with playing against the bots is kind of the idea that's wrapping in my head. When I watched the Century game, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun, but I would need, if you guys have suggestions, obviously put in the comments of like, ideas of how to structure it, because all mass centuries is one thing, but it'd be nice to have one for each race, and so let you guys be creative, and if you guys have ideas, throw it in the comments below of what ways we can do a Fun Day Monday. We won't call it a Fun Day Monday, but we'll give it a cool bot name and maybe see what the best versions of them are after each season. Let you leave the submissions open for people to submit them still, so that'd be good.
Shout out to Tara in chat. What up?
Oh, Tara, yeah. And so, speaking of other things as well, I would also maybe want to see, maybe also some of the other throwbacks. Like, it'd be kind of cool to even look at some of the comparison of older bots, do like a throwback day of just maybe 1 or 2 games or 3 games from the old seasons or the old replays, and see how they look now, like a nostalgia version.
You really gain an appreciation for how strong the bots are now. If you look at like the way back when, there were times where bots, like, all they could do was like move the spawn position of the opponents and with like Marines or something, and now they can do all these complicated things and actually be competitive against humans. Yeah, so we have our new assets now, and we have a team willing to kind of help us put these productions going on. So it'd be kind of fun if we have once a month, or when ProBots proper isn't going on, where we can theme up the cast and get something going. This one, obviously, human versus ProBots versus Meatbags. I always say humans versus Meatbags, but always your ideas in the comments. Let us know. Really loved all the support we've been getting here, and the next season's going to be coming up very shortly. Last year we only got 2 in. We had 1 and then side loaded, but this year I think we're going to have the full Monty plus extra. Nice. So yeah, I know I think I mentioned this last year, is that for me, I really shifted my attention towards ProBots, and really I want to make this year a lot bigger each and every year, and bring back a live ProBots event is really on my radar, and getting that back out again. So yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I love it. We just have a meet up in Toronto or something. Well, that's it, right? I think that'd be fun. While. Yeah, it's been a hot minute that we've all been in together in a studio and doing ProBots, but even having some of the authors come and visit us as well, and Rapar and them are just in Montreal, and if we give you guys enough announcement, maybe you all come out. Some of our biggest fans will come in and check it out live, and that would be a really fun time, I think, getting everyone together. So yeah, cool. So thank you guys so much for casting it. Thanks for production in the background. Those of you who are watching, you know who you are. Thanks a lot for the ProBots members who've supported us. You can join that. The links are in the description below. We also have templates for you to get started. The Eris framework is really awesome. I really recommend it. We have links towards that in the resources in the description if you want to make a bot in that. But and then get your bot on the ladder, because if you get your bot on the ladder now, there's a good chance you could be in the next ProBots. And so just get in the top 16. Easy peasy. Absolutely. Before we wrap out, anything from you guys? Any shout outs, any thoughts, anything we want to wrap and send everyone off with?
Good shows. And I think like this sort of thing, like we like to get people involved in playing the humans versus AI stuff and get fun games out of it. So a big shout out again to CobbleStone, because I think that's just a really fun way for someone to interact with it. I think he knows if you just play straight up, it's not not a contest when you're a grandmaster. So yeah, it's fun to get people that are like good sports about how they're doing it and like trying to make it fun and make it entertaining.
Absolutely, I completely agree. I think we still have the link. Yeah, there is still a link for you to play the bots on ProBotsAI.com. You can go there and still play the bots yourself at any time. I believe it's the side-loaded season bots. And make sure you visit AIarena.net to get your bot up on the ladder so that you can participate. And also check out their Discord as well. Tons of people there to help you if you got any trouble getting your bot up and running. Lovely group of people. They will give you the support you need to be able to get your bot. And you know what I mean? One thing I wanted to mention before we wrap up is that it doesn't matter if you don't know a programming language. I think building a bot is probably the best thing you can do if you have ambition to learn a programming language. I think, you know, using a bot as a project is I think the most fun project you can do instead of building something that's silly and you don't like it. I think a bot in StarCraft 2 is a fun project. I say that from experience myself.
Yeah, if you want to learn how to code, you know, you don't like watching tutorials or reading articles. Like that's not going to get you there. You really have to put it into practice yourself.
Yeah.
And the best way to put into practice is to build a project of something you're interested in. And if you think it's fun to build a bot and watch it like grow and get stronger, then which it is really addictive actually. Like a lot of bot authors like spend years on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great project, and we like the API is available in basically every programming language.
Absolutely.
So you can kind of, you know, it's a great project to get things going, whether you're accomplished or just new to programming.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree and highly recommend it. And on that note, make sure you guys check out ProBotsAI.com. All links to where you need to go. Until next time, though, we'll see you here on ProBots.